excited to announce our new partnership with the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. Beth Alcazar is next to talk about it.
But first, do you feel safe? Are you protected? Well, it's time to take ownership of your self-defense journey. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association believes the key ingredient is being a responsible firearms owner, a proper training and education. The USCCA offers comprehensive training that helps you avoid danger while keeping you and your loved ones safe. More than 650,000 responsibly armed Americans like you have made the responsible decision to take control of protecting themselves and their families. Get hands-on training from certified instructors. Learn how to avoid danger, defend yourself, and protect your loved ones. Take responsibility for your own safety and visit uscca.com or /GOR. All right.
So
say hi to Beth.
We're here? I'll say my hero, Beth Alcazar, is here, I think. Beth, are you there?
I am here.
That's
yes,
awesome.
Again, this is so exciting.
Oh, welcome back. Yes, imagine my excitement. I talked to you 2 weeks ago here. I left for a little hunting trip, come back, and you're here again. Who knew?
Wow, I mean...
We
yeah,
always
exactly.
bring the good back. And you know,
even better so with partnership, too. How serendipitous is that? I'm so excited.
Well, and right now, this is such an important time with the gun sales that are going on. Holy moly. I know, and everybody thinks it's just California, but it's across the United States. So this is very opportune that you'd come on and chat with us.
Well, and I'm excited to be here. I don't know if I drew the long straw, the short straw, or any straw at all, but I heard about the opportunity to jump back on with you guys. I said, oh, yes, me. I raised my hand. So.
All right. So for folks that don't know who you are, here's a perfect opportunity.
Sure. Yeah. My official title, I guess, with USCCA is that I'm editor-at-large with Concealed Carry Magazine, the award-winning, might I add, the award-winning Concealed Carry Magazine. But I'm just one of the lucky few that get to spend a lot of time with not just the content side that produces the magazine, but also the training side. So I get to do a lot with the curriculum and, videos and blogs and just all across the board. I get to be part of some of the really awesome stuff that we're producing to help folks all across the nation learn more about responsible gun ownership.
Wow.
So, Beth, just for the one or two listeners that may not know what USCCA is, can you give us just a kind of brief description, what you guys are, what you do, and everything for us?
Yeah, I mean, the high-level overview, we're a membership organization that is 650,000 strong, responsible armed Americans all over the U.S., and I believe that's including over 60,000 just in California. And obviously our mission is training and education, and of course, that's where our emphasis is. We're industry, and we also believe the right of all Americans to embrace the responsibility for safe protection of their families. So we believe that everyone has that right. We support it, and we hopefully offer some resources for folks who are just looking to dig a little deeper and know a little bit more and just understand what their rights and responsibilities are.
Yeah, and that's such an important thing, too, because, I always talk about USCCA. I do a couple of concealed carry seminars each month, just explaining to folks, okay, what's the process? If you want to get your concealed carry, what do you have to go through? And I always touch on your organization and the importance of that, too, because I think it's important not only for concealed carriers, but for gun owners in general, is, to have the education, the training, the access to it, because that's what drew me to USCCA. I've been a member for, I think, 4 or 5 years, something like that. But it's just the training and the education part of it, the access to national type instructors and really high quality video and training material is really great to keep people, out of trouble, so that what you can do, what you can't do, what you should do to stay out of ever getting in a position where you have to use a firearm.
It's so true. And, it helps us all understand just so much more thoroughly that, kind of when a lot of us start out in the gun ownership category, we don't necessarily know all the details. We're very focused on the physical training. And then we start to learn more about how there's such a mental side to this and a mindset. But, beyond that, too, there's financial, there's legal, there's so many ways that we need to be prepared to keep ourselves and our families safe. And that's honestly the reason I really pursued the USCCA for a job, relentlessly went after them for years and worked side by side with them for many of those years, and finally kind of landed myself on the payroll officially about 6 years ago. And I love this opportunity to be able to use my background in education and say, hey, we're using those same methodologies for training and helping people and hopefully making a real difference.
So that's a perfect segue, Beth, and I like the way you did that. So I'm brand new. I'm listening to Gun Owners Radio, and I hear about this. Tell me, as a listener that hasn't got a clue, what's the process? What do I need to do to get to the other end of the road, totally trained and educated?
Oh, I wish there were like an end of that journey for sure. I think there's constantly the idea in our head, the question, what's next? And that's my mission really, is to maybe get others to come away from every class or every experience with training with that question. Where do I go next? What other training do I seek out?
So where are your classes? I mean, if I'm in San Diego, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Do I have to sign up? And do I have to have my own gun? Do I have to have my own what are kind of some of the list of things that the consumer is going to need to do when they come to you?
Well, with USCCA, what's awesome is you can go onto the website and look for not just training opportunities that we have online. You can also look specifically in your area. So you could put in your zip code, your address, or anything.
So you're nationwide.
Yes, absolutely nationwide. And we have, 10,000, I think, certified instructors all over the country right now. And I believe roughly 300 or so are right there in California. So
one of them's Joe, right, Joe?
Well, it's funny. They're both rolling their eyes as if I didn't do my homework. So I guess we have facilities and people here in San Diego that can fulfill the need.
Well, what's nice, if you're a USCCA certified instructor, like some of us are, we could post our classes
on your
up on our website.
He was so snooty about it. It was such a snooty comment. He was like just looking down his nose at both of us, Dave. Throwing the gauntlet.
Or else I'll never get a word in here. I have to say something.
Oh, but be abusive.
But no, it's nice because, like Beth was saying, if you're looking for training, you can go to the USCCA site. You can type in your zip code,
and they just give you a list of trainers.
If you're looking for in-person training, yes, it'll list everything in the area all the way up from here. I think I saw things all the way up through Orange County.
Okay, Mr. Instructor, not being
go ahead.
prejudiced, group or individual? Which would the consumer get the best benefit from?
What I saw on there were mostly group trainings, but there's no reason if I wanted to offer individual trainings, I bet I could figure out a way to put it on there because the dashboard is really nice. It's really easy to work with, and the USCCA people are great because I'm not a computer guy, so it's like I relearn it every time I do it.
Well, and I don't take a cruise, so I'm not into crowds. So if I could get an individual one-on-one.
You could if they're offering, it depends on what instructors are offering what. But the other thing, too, is if you're not into the class thing, there's a ton of really good online video training that they have there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I just did some of Beth's, actually. Beth, didn't you just do one with a concealed carry lifestyle, Beth?
We did, yeah. Steve Fisher and Justin Peters and I did kind of, some of it was a little tongue-in-cheek, but it was for all those new folks that we're welcoming into the 2A community to kind of get their feet wet, get them started.
Yeah, you can't be too stiff, otherwise you'll lose everyone.
No, exactly. So we had some fun with that whole. I think they broke it up into 2 different sections, but we had a great time with that concealed carry lifestyle section of Protector Academy and all the other great online resources that USCCA has. It was always fun to be invited to do those things and hope I'll be invited back.
Well, and that is a big deal because what we do out here is, the state mandates an 8-hour class, and you go through the class, and these people have their CCW, and then it's like, okay, now what? They have the CCW, they may be new to guns, they're certainly new to concealed carry, and it's like, well, what do I do now? Because, there's a million things that you need to learn aside from the gun. And that's why I thought your classes, your little video things were a good start there that you guys had.
How long are they?
Yeah.
How long would you say they are?
Well, Well, there's different segments to the way that they split it up, and I think each one of them could end up being anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes. So little chunks of information
that's
you can
perfect.
sit down and watch.
That's perfect. When's the last time you sat and watched a 2-hour video on anything?
No.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
So you guys have thought this out, basically, and I guess that's the reason I'm saying it. So if somebody's listening, or maybe you're not brand new to gun ownership. Maybe you've had a gun your whole life. Go take a look at these videos. It's kind of like taking the driver's test again.
Yeah. And I mean, if there's something specific you're looking for, you can pretty much find it through USCCA right now. I mean, we've got some really great skill builders. We've got things about red dots. Of course, that's the new big thing pretty much for everybody now. They've got pistol mounted optics. That is just the way to go. And, we've got also just some, everyday folk kind of stuff. I'm new, or I don't know where to start, or I don't know where to go next, or maybe it's safe storage and staging opportunities, or maybe you are digging a little bit deeper. And luckily there are many skill levels and opportunities that are represented through the USCCA, and the way that they've built the classes too, you can kind of start out at a level and pass that level, and then all these other things open up to you. And, that's exciting and fun as people are almost gamifying it too sometimes, where you can earn their little badges and all this stuff and, see what you've accomplished. And some people really love to be able to kind of go back and, see a visual representation of things that you've done and learned.
Mike still has his first target.
See?
I've seen that hanging on your wall.
I kind of wish I did. That would be so cool.
It would have been a BB gun, but it still would have been your first target. Hey, can you hang with us
yes.
for another segment?
Yes, you can.
Sure thing.
So do you have trouble fitting workouts into your busy schedule? Well, hey, you've got to try Leofit. Leofit is a super high-tech gym that delivers the benefits of 3 to 6 hours of traditional strength training in just 2 20-minute sessions a week. Yes, that sounds hard to believe, but because the machines are computer controlled, they deliver the maximum weight you can safely handle by the second. That's how you get the highest possible return on your fitness investment and time. Founded by Leo Hamill at the jewelry store, famed Leofit guarantees increased metabolical strength and fitness in every session. You will not understand how effective it is until you try it. 20 minutes twice a week will replace hours of lifting weights and aerobics. Sign up on the website at leofitlabs.com or type Leofit in your browser for more information and sign up for a free session. All right,
we're talking to Beth Alcazar from, you're here representing USCCA, right?
That's correct.
Excellent. USCCA. I got to tell you, I tell people, we do these CCW seminars where we teach people how to get their CCW. You can start to get your CCW a few years ago now, but of course the Supreme Court case made it easier. So we were teaching people how to get their CCW and what to write and all that other good stuff. And I would tell people that, look, if you're getting your CCW, you have admitted to yourself that at some point it's a realistic possibility that you might have to defend yourself with a firearm. And if you've admitted that, there is an equal chance that you're going to need an attorney. Because if you do that, if you defend yourself with lethal force using a firearm, you're definitely going to need an attorney here in California. And if you've resigned to that fact, you've got to get some kind of service like USCCA. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. I think too many people think, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy a gun for defense, but I'm not going to get the coverage. Well, there's an equal chance of you needing an attorney as there is you using a firearm for self-defense.
Is that like buying a car and not buying the insurance? Really, when you stop and think
it's a lot like that, yeah.
Yeah, the other one hurts more. But, I mean, pocketbook-wise, because if you get caught or anything happens and you don't have this kind of protection.
I think it's even more important, though, with a firearm, because when you buy a car, you don't buy a car thinking, I better buy a car because I'm going to need to get into an accident soon.
I've seen you drive.
You know what I mean?
I've seen you drive.
Yeah. But when you buy a firearm for self-defense, you're saying, hey, I'm probably going to have to use this at
So
some
that
point.
brings up a great question.
So it's even more important.
How much is it?
That's for Beth.
Is that above your pay grade?
And that's not a question I get to answer. They can find out the different levels and the different opportunities that, hopefully will meet everybody's needs on the USCCA website.
Okay.
And That way I don't have to sound like some salesperson or anything.
Well-
They can dig into those details and find out all the value adds and all the awesome stuff that speaks to them individually.
And that's even better than saying it's $5, $10, or $20, because now you got them going to the website. And if they're anything like me, they're going to forget the question, enjoy the website, and wait for you to come back on the air so I can ask a question again. No, I'm kidding.
So Beth, what do you think about the Bruin decision?
Oh my gosh. Well, I had opportunities to speak to that just the other day, and I haven't read all 135 pages just yet. I'll admit that. But I was very intrigued by Justice Alito's quotes. I actually pulled some out and kind of chewed on them. I was just amazed. I feel like this is so long overdue. I feel like this is not just important to gun owners. I think it's important for law-abiding citizens that, we have been heard, and that I think before this came through, the fact that we needed a prerequisite, or not we personally, but New Yorkers or those in other states that were similar, California, that somehow you needed to produce a reason or proof to have your Second Amendment right be employed or protected. That to me is just heart-wrenching, because that really says that the government doesn't trust or support law-abiding citizens at all. And we kind of know that, but I think that this being on the books so long was proof of that. So we've been heard. Law-abiding citizens, we have been heard.
And you said Justice Alito's quotes. What did you like in particular? Do you remember?
There's a couple things that really stood out to me. For one thing, he was actually quoting some of the information that a lot of us in the gun community and the Second Amendment community use when we're talking about the flip side to statistics. And what I mean by that is, what about the upwards of 2.5 million defensive gun uses that are recorded annually in the U.S. alone? A lot of people don't want to touch those. They don't want to talk about those. They want to talk about murder, or they want to talk about people using firearms in dangerous or evil ways. But even Justice Alito brought this up, and I was so excited, wow, if someone from the Supreme Court is using this makes me feel even better when I'm quoting from the same thing. I also loved one other thing that stood out for me. He was also replying to the dissent. And this was amazing to me. He says, and this is direct quote, "While the dissent seemingly thinks that the ubiquity of guns and our country's high level of gun violence provide reasons for sustaining the New York law, the dissent appears not to understand that it is these very facts that cause law-abiding citizens to feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense."
Bam. I think, by the way, that was Justice Thomas, though, not Alito.
I thought it was Alito.
Was it Alito? I thought it was Clarence Thomas.
He didn't hold the court opinion. He was basically replying to the dissent.
They're just picking on Thomas.
Well, they really are. But I thought it was great. I mean, they really, I haven't gotten through the dissent yet. I really want to read the dissent, but I was really impressed with.
They did their job.
They went hard in the paint, man.
But they did their job.
Yeah.
Their job description is exactly what they did. And I think people need to understand that. You can't change what it's supposed to be.
I agree. What state are you in, Beth?
I'm in Alabama.
You're okay. So
come on out to California. I'll buy you lunch.
Right?
You guys.
We're one of the 25 constitutional carry now, so that was a recent decision not long ago for us, and a big win after 10 years of fighting for it.
Oh, we'll never get you out of there then, because you could not even think about that out here.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it's changed since you guys went constitutional carry, but at one point Alabama had the highest percentage of CCWs issued to adults.
Yes,
it was something like 20%.
We do. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yes, we were the highest for. I think we were like the second highest for a while. Then we were in first place. And I think, honestly, even though we're constitutional carry recognized starting in January, I believe you'll still see high numbers of the concealed carry permit, because we have believers in the Second Amendment that want to travel and want reciprocity. And, we're not going to just give up on that. We want to make sure that, there's not some weird cross the border and all of a sudden you are wanted by the police officers right next to you.
Right.
So I don't remember if we talked to you about this last time. So if we did, I apologize. But one thing that we've talked about with others, and Joe has discussed, is we're all responsible gun owners. So we're big fans of, hey, get the training that you need to get. in order to be, safe and do everything right, when it comes to gun ownership.
Yeah.
But then, when you talk about mandated training, so what are your thoughts on government mandated training? Because that's kind of I think it's a discussion worth having in the gun community when states do go constitutional carry. We're very, very happy about the fact that it's freedom and it's the spirit of the Second Amendment, I believe. But it kind of conflicts with how dedicated we are to training. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally understand, and I think there sometimes does feel like there's this disconnect. I mean, I've been part of the world of academia as an educator for more than 20 years now. I'm, finishing up my doctorate degree in education. This is something very, very serious to me, and I am a big believer in getting as many people educated and trained as we absolutely possibly can. The problem comes with who's in charge of that, who makes those decisions, and that's what we've seen time and time again, that you put somebody or get somebody in a decision-making role when it comes to what is the mandated training or what are these hoops that people have to jump through to be able to have a permit or a firearm or a certain amount of rounds. And then you have what happened in New York, California, all over again. You have people deciding that, you know what, these people need proof to have a gun in the first place. And you have people saying, hey, 8 hours of training isn't enough. It needs to be 800. Or maybe one day they're going to just decide, oh, wow, average citizens definitely shouldn't have guns. I'm glad I'm in a position mandating training because now if they don't have the same amount that law enforcement gets, we're just not going to allow it at all. So I feel as much as I support education across the board, what we can never really agree with or support or get on board with is the fact that some people believe that they have the control of that and that they can force that or mandate it, especially when it's a constitutionally supported natural right of the people. So that's where you have to draw a line.
What do you think is the most important thing? I've kind of, we've retooled the presentation that we give on how to get your CCW, and I've broken down training into like 4 different groups because when you tell people, hey, you really need to get training, well, that I think most people think that we're talking about, in essence, marksmanship. But
Sure.
really, there's the legalities, there are the basic, functions of a firearm, there's marksmanship, and then there's how to move, what to do and how to move in a firefight, for lack of a better term. What do you think if there's going to be a lot of people in California that are getting their CCW for the first time, they've never carried? What would you tell them about, what should they concentrate on?
Well, there's a lot of layers and moving parts to that, really. And I think what people need to do is kind of decide, maybe almost think about being in college or think about those years where you're kind of declaring a major and you're trying to pick and choose the coursework that is going to most support whatever that major might be. So let's say, for instance, someone really wants firearms as a sport, something that they can work on with their family and improve on their skills and maybe get involved with competition. That might be one completely different pathway where they are focused on those marksmanship courses. And then maybe they're taking some of those shooting and movement courses that just, layers onto those fundamentals, but in an order that makes sense and is not some kind of cognitive overload. But then on the other hand, if you have someone that's just sincerely 100%, this is self-protection, this is for me, my family, my loved ones, then sure, marksmanship is a great starting point in learning basics and fundamentals. But then you've got to look at the defensive side of things. Defensive shooting and the mindset for that, completely different. We're talking about the difference of, maybe not having any fundamentals in place. It's literally aim gun, press trigger under the context of the dynamic critical incident, which is super hard to do. And then, of course, along with that, like you mentioned, you've got to be able to understand when is your right to legally protect your life with a firearm. When is that allowed? When is that protected? What kinds of things need to be in place for you to go to that last resort? So definitely those mindset classes, those classes that include legal aspects that really hit home and sometimes frighten us and sometimes make us second guess, should I even have this gun? Those are the kinds of things we need.
Okay. Man, it's always great having you on the air. Give the website out one more time.
They need to go to usconcealedcarry.com. And now, because we're partners with you, I believe it's /GOR.
Yep, that's right.
Absolutely correct. Hey, you have an absolutely fabulous 4th of July, and I hope you enjoy cleaning your guns.
Absolutely. Happy Independence Day.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.